Welcome to We Are the Remedy, where each week we highlight a person from the community who embodies the idea of people helping people. Hello and welcome to We Are the Remedy, a Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation. My name is Trevor Henley and I'm the inspirational activist and founder. We have the wonderful, the talented, the incredibly knowledgeable Raw Feesby with us.
Hi guys.
And today, Trevor is with us. Not just me, but the amazing Trevor Rhoads.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for
Trevor
joining
Rhoads.
us. Of Bjorg Electric?
Bjorg Electric.
Bjorg Electric.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. So, one of the things that we connected here, we connected via BNI initially, and then we've done a couple of one-to-ones and talked base, and among the many things that we actually share stories with and everything, a big passion lies within the mentorship.
Correct. Yeah. Mentorship. So why am I interested in mentorship?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk a little bit about your history and your story in that regard. Why? Because now you're running your own organization, right? You're doing something that you're passionate about, and you've launched your own company and going for it. And one of the stories that we talked about was how mentorship saved probably your life. And that might be diving too deep, too quick, but going
Jump
right
in the deep end.
Right.
Can I ask a leading question?
Yeah, you can lead.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you Marin native?
More or less.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was born in Sacramento, and in my most youthful times, as in like elementary school, my family was pretty well off, and we were in Sacramento, San Diego, Seattle, and finally Marin County.
Okay.
And we were, upper middle class. Mm-hmm. We were doing quite well. A young privileged youth, I was. And when I was about 12 years old, that changed drastically. So the parents divorced, lost all their money, went from being very well-to-do to completely destitute, nothing at all. Right. And so that was an interesting experience. And my father kind of went off to find himself. And what I didn't understand at the time was that my mother was dealing with a early onset Alzheimer's / dementia, which she, rest in peace, died from about 2 years ago. We didn't understand that's exactly part of what was happening back then. So all I really knew was we didn't have any more money, and my parents were kind of MIA, and I became a free-range
child. Excellent.
Yeah.
Free-range child in the 90s?
Yeah, that was the 90s.
Good times.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We Fred Dursted.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Yeah, we Wu-Tanged.
But who doesn't Wu-Tang? Really?
Yeah, I mean, we still Wu-Tang.
Right.
Yeah, we all still Wu-Tang.
But, yeah.
Part of the morning playlist.
Truth.
Yeah.
So coming out of that change, that drastic shift in your reality, would you say that your compass was spinning? Like you said you were 12, so you would have been in the dreaded middle school years at that point, right? Coming out of it, 8th grade, I believe, 7th grade.
Yeah. So it was the summer between the 8th grade and freshman year of high school.
Oh, so the biggest transition that
the
you
most
can.
awkward adolescence.
Yeah,
possible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So fun. So
my compass was spinning.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how hard my compass was spinning, one of the first things I did was I stole my mother's car, and I drove across the country to Fort Collins, Colorado, to run away. And
I mean, most kids just pack an overnight with some candy bars and find a friend's house.
yeah, no, we made it halfway across the country. It was me and my friend Ben, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wasn't happy, so I left.
That is actually very insightful for a child of that age. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but I have to get the hell away from here in order to find it.
Yeah, it was. I had some interesting feedback.
Depends on who you talk to, right?
Yeah, well, from the police actually.
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
we
they
got
had
there.
opinions.
Yeah, so it was me and my friend, and they catch us. Obviously, they're waiting at the house. We're at my friend's girlfriend's house, right? Because we
Okay.
can't run away without the girlfriend.
Right.
Right.
We were gonna get on a boat in Catalina Island that his uncle was sailing around the world with. We were gonna stow away
Nice.
and just hop out when it was too late for him to turn around, because
That's good to have plans.
How could that go wrong?
Yeah. It's good to have plans.
We had to get the girlfriend first.
Okay.
So, we end up at the girlfriend's house, and the cops are waiting for us, right? And the cops are, they're like, "You guys, reckless endangerment, totally irresponsible. Can't believe you did that. What the hell were you thinking?" Right. And they split us up, and so I looked at the cop and I was like, "Look, man, I'm fucking over it. I don't like my situation, and I wanted to leave, so I did. I don't like my mother and her boyfriend that I'm currently living with, and I took matters in my own hands."
How did
And
he
he just-
react to that?
He just looked at me like, "Oh, okay, all right," And he goes and chews out my friend. So then, they bring us back together, and once again, they're like, "You guys are just totally irresponsible, really bad, can't believe you did that." And they turns to me and goes, "You obviously have an exceptional amount of skill for someone your age.
I was gonna say
Or you
because
never would have made it."
How old are you
know?
again at this point?
12, yeah.
Okay,
Or, okay, how old are you in the 8th grade? That's like 12,
it's either
right?
12 or 13.
12.
13, 12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a December baby.
So probably 13,
So,
because you would have turned 13 December of your 8th grade year.
yeah, a little squirt.
Yeah, 80 be 80.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
He was like, let me just acknowledge
Right.
the talent you have possessed to get you thus far.
Right. Well,
Interesting.
it was, he gave me props, and then he dissed my friend, and
Right.
it was really funny, I thought. And then my parents, my mom didn't have any money, so his dad flew them both in, and then I had to drive back with my mom all the way back to California. So we come back home, and basically, my mother, she sort of looked at me and she said, "Okay, you're a man,
Oh,
Right.
right?
Time to figure it out.
Like,
you did man things.
I can't tell you what to do." She didn't kick me out, but she basically was like, "All right, do what you're gonna do. I can't stop you." So what did I want to do? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't like school. I didn't feel like I related to a lot of people. The only people I felt like I did relate with were people who felt this very specific feeling of being without any resources and surrounded by people who have plenty. So a little resentful, a little victim mentality, a little like, fuck it, I just want to party,
Right.
just have a good time,
Understand that.
I messed around, and I had fun and everything, but I acted plenty irresponsible, drove fast and drank and did drugs, and to a degree that was unsafe, and hung out with people who were not taking care of themselves or up to anything good.
Did you have a rock bottom?
Um,
Or were you one of the lucky ones?
yeah. I don't know if I want to talk about the rock bottom.
We don't have to talk about it. I just want to know if there was one.
Yeah, I mean, probably, without getting into too much detail, I'd say rock bottom. I was hanging out in Richmond with a circle of people, and I was looking around, and people were getting high, and I was like looking to my left and looking to my right, and looking at the building I was in, and thinking, why in the hell am I here? And
Excellent.
this is not the way.
Okay.
So,
What was your way? How did you find your first foothold out of the pit?
yeah. So fortunately, my mother worked for a contractor, and his name was David, and he was a general contractor. And she was doing like administrative work for him, you know. And I always thought that like building was kind of cool, you know. I just like to do things with my hands, and I was always thinking about how to get money because you know even bad habits require money to fund, right?
Yes, they do.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be like a carpenter, you know. And she just happened to work for one. So I went up and talked to him, and he was like, "Whatever, kid. Like, sure, you can work for me sometime. Fine, you know." And I was like, "Okay, well, you don't have like work for me on your jobs, but like maybe I could do something on like your on your yard, you know." Like, frankly, I want some money anyway.
Right.
So I'm looking for
something
work.
to do.
Right. We didn't have no allowance. We didn't have like. There was no,
You either made it yourself or you had nothing.
Yeah, and it was really like that. Like we didn't have like food in the fridge a lot of the time. You know, we didn't have dinner being made for us a lot of the time or anything like that. It was pretty. Me and my brother both were like, like kind of malnourished, really, really, really skinny. You know, so it was more than just fun. My party really, it was like also fun. Like
Survival.
it was also kind of it was survival. So.
Survival.
Anyway, he's like, sure, you can rake my leaves. I raked the shit out of his leaves. And he said, oh, this kid can work. Okay. And he hired me.
Okay.
And he was my first mentor, you know. And
would you say he was the first person to see that you could be a hard worker, that you could be something other than the scrappy kid in the streets who was making do?
Yeah, I don't know. But he was the first person to act on it.
Hey, there it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people see your potential all over the place, you know, and just smile and be like, that kid's got potential, you know what I mean? But who's gonna give you a chance to act on it, you know? So that was where the mentorship.
What did that do for you? That moment when he said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was stoked. I was really excited, you know? And I was like, sweet, I'm going to learn how to build some things. And I did. So, you know, he taught me the fundamentals of residential construction. And he taught me how to do the fundamentals of every trade. And I started to develop real carpentry skills with him.
And you were around what age at this time?
15.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I was lucky. You know, that I found someone who was willing to invest in me, at least the time, you know.
While you were working for him, was there something underlying besides the trade aspect? Like, did he present as someone in your life who was a stable person, someone who had expectations for you that you actively chose to live up to? Or was he simply a teacher?
I appreciated his character, you know.
Yeah.
I thought he was a good example, like a positive male role model. Nice. And he even actually, years down the line, he actually took me to this sort of retreat that was for young men. That was like a rite of passage, which I thought was really cool because, you know, like in American culture, we don't really have rites of passage for young men, right? So it was like a retreat that at first I thought was a little like kind of cheesed at, like, oh, whatever, you know, rite of passage. But then there was camaraderie developed there, and there was like healthy outlets for like macho energy and
healthy outlets for macho energy.
Yeah, what a concept, huh?
Quote of the day.
But it was really cool. So he was a really positive male role model. Yeah. You know, and in fact, I need to reach out to him. He's still around.
You should do that.
You know, I haven't spoken to him for a really long time. But electrical, which is what I do now, I first dabbled in it with him. So he, he was my first mentor in construction, and he was the gateway to what I'm doing now.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you find a mentor for your interest in electrical?
Yeah. So as I progressed in my career, it was really important to find people who were willing to mentor me. And some of them were nicer than others.
Okay.
Like in construction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Guys are like, okay, I see why you did that. Here's what I'd like you to do next time, and here's
Right.
how I want you to fix it now. Done, right? Seems
Right.
like the civil responsible.
No, it was a teachable moment, and they saw it as such.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's the guys that are like, you fucking idiot. Fix that shit. I can't believe you fucking did that.
Right.
You dumbass. Fix that shit. If you do it again, I'll fucking fire you. Right?
That's not teaching.
Let's take a step
It's still a
back
teachable
from-
moment,
Well, it's a
and you learn something.
You know,
There's no doubt.
some people learn better that way,
Right.
maybe.
Right.
I learned how I didn't want to be.
Ooh,
Right.
How I didn't want to behave.
years.
How I didn't want to treat
Exactly.
people.
Yes.
I think that also, like, if you're really masterful, or let's just say pretty good at what you do, you probably don't need to freak out like that.
Right.
with someone.
You don't need to berate other
Probably be
people to
confident
make it
enough
feel
to-
better. Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It took me a little bit to figure that one out. Because, initially there's so much machismo.
I was gonna say
in
it
the
goes
trades.
into the macho and the I'm the best. I know everything.
Yeah. So, so David Downing. I'm gonna give props to David Downing.
David Downing.
That was my
David
first,
Downing, you hear
first
that?
mentor. Yeah. So after that, there were a number of individuals who took me on, and most of them either I had to sell myself to. There wasn't a lot of opportunities just out there for me to go and say, hey, I want to be mentored. Is there
Right.
somebody waiting out there to mentor me?
Yeah.
It wasn't that way.
Forge your own path.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys who taught me the fundamentals of electricity, I met in a parking lot, and I was getting into my car, and he was in his work van. And I was like, after you. He said, no, after you. Oh no, I insist. I said, no, you first. Right. Okay, thanks. I get in my car, and I look over, and I see his pipe tube on his conduit tube, which I thought was a pipe tube. And I said, are you a plumber? And he looked at me like, a plumber? Huh. I'm an electrician. Like, which is a phenomenon around electricians that's pretty interesting.
Right.
I believe that.
We're the king we're the best of all the trades. we hold our nose high to the other trades. I don't do that, but a lot of us do.
But you get to play with power.
I mean,
why not?
That's kind of a trip in itself.
Right.
Like,
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Don't make me go off on that, because I'll get into
Yeah.
hey, we were breaking apart the very fabric of matter and making it power things for us, which is true, but
Another episode.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
there are a million kids in the world who would love to geek out on that moment with you.
You know what? And I would love to geek out on it with them.
We'll have you
You
back.
like chemistry and you like working with your hands. Maybe electricity is for you.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyway,
and that all goes to we'll bring it back at some point to the mentorship and the
yeah.
apprenticeships.
Yes, we'll get in there.
Yeah,
I
we're
want to
getting
hear.
there.
I want
I
to hear
know.
the parking lot story,
Yeah.
and then I ask some more questions.
Yeah. So parking lot story. After you, so no. After you. So no, I'm not a plumber. I'm an electrician. I go, whoa. I've done a little bit of electrical work. I would love to, to apprentice. Do you need any help? And he was like, yeah, maybe, sure, And he gives me his number. Like, oh, cool. So 6 months, I think it was, of like once a month I'd call. Hey, you need me yet? No. Okay. Hey, you need me yet? No. Okay. I didn't give up. It took half a year, but I kept calling him, and I don't know why I called him. I don't know what it was, maybe keep calling him and not a bunch of other outfits. You know, because I was working for a road construction company. I was working for other residential construction companies. G Family's a company. But the whole time I was like, you know, electrical, what is it? And this guy, there's something going on here. And eventually he said, okay, let's do it.
Nice.
You know, and he put me on my first job that was basically a new construction. It was like a full remodel. Everything but the bones of the home was redone. And I rewired my basically my first house. Because I had done one before that, but that's, you know, that was a key moment.
So I'm following your story and I'm putting all of these pieces together, and like in my brain I'm watching this journey from like your pit and that first tentative step that you took out of that pit, and the first person who saw your potential and acted on it, and then you actively choosing to continue to dig in and get out of that pit. And then once you got out of that pit and you recognized your worth, that drive that you had to get out of it pushed you forward. It's a really interesting concept socially that people want to mind their business, but we're also incessantly nosy when it serves. And for children, youth in particular, it has been studied and shown that having a single individual come into your life and actually give a fuck can completely change the trajectory of a child's existence, from the way that they think of themselves to the way that they see the world to the way that they motivate themselves. There's two modalities on how we move through the world. There's an internal and an external. Are you motivated by things that are outside of yourself, or are you motivated by things that are inside of yourself? And what studies have shown is that when children and youth, all youth, are given the opportunity to see value within themselves, then they are much more likely to be motivated by internal locus of control, by the things that they feel are important to them, things that they are proud of themselves, as opposed to what other people think of them and what other people value in them. And mentorship provides an opportunity for children to see a reflection of who they want to be in the people that have chosen to believe in them. And I think that's a story. Part of your story is you had somebody who saw who you were and the potential that you had and showed that back to you.
Yeah, they were verbal about it too.
Yeah.
You know, they told me they saw potential, that they believed in me.
Yeah.
You know, it was really, which is really, really great. I'm very grateful for these people.
I just remember when I was approaching my bottom, I had apparently painted this guy's. He first of all, he picked me up when I was hitchhiking to the hospital because I couldn't drive. How bad I had injured myself, and I had apparently painted some interior houses for him over the winter in Tahoe. I have zero recollection of it. But when I was living out of my truck and driving down to California 1 going south, I landed in Moss Landing. I basically ran out of money in Moss Landing. And then there was this little thing in the back of my brain that said, dude from Tahoe is here. And I went into the captain's or the dock quarters and I said, is there a guy with homes in Tahoe that I think has a sailboat here? And he's like, is this really your question?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I know this sounds really weird, but I think he helped, I don't know, but is there someone there? And he ended up knowing, I was able to describe apparently something, and he ended up connecting with me, and then I was able to find the guy, and he kind of met me where I was at and allowed me to do some work on a sailboat. I was gutting his sailboat for the few hours that I could stand. And it wasn't, I don't remember, I couldn't tell you what this guy looks like. I don't know his name. I don't know a thing about this man other than, one, why in the world did he give me a chance to paint some homes, interior of a home in Tahoe while I was a cripple? guy who was obviously drugged out of his mind, but he gave me a chance and I did a good job. And so he gave me another chance apparently. And then again, when I was trying to come out of that homeless, he gave me another chance and gave me another helping hand up. And so it was, I don't remember any words like you said, but I remember the actions, right? Someone gave me a helping hand up and gave me the feeling of self-worth that, hey, even though I'm a total wreck right now, someone believes in me. Yeah. And it's one of the big reasons why I think I'm still alive. Is because besides the work, but because of also just reaching out and giving a hand up to someone.
Somebody cared.
Yeah, somebody cared. It's really what it boiled down to.
Somebody cared.
Somebody cared.
So let's fast forward.
Yeah.
You have done your apprenticeship. You are a journeyman electrician, I believe is the terminology.
Electrical contractor.
Electrical contractor. You, I'm assuming, did work for a couple of different companies, and then boom, you decided you want to start a business.
Yes.
Okay.
That's basically it.
And you're in year 2, if I remember correctly, right?
This would be my 3rd year.
Okay, 3rd year.
Yeah, you have to renew after 2 years, and I've renewed once, so this is year.
Congratulations.
3.
And they continued with your license and said you're doing a good job?
Yep.
Nice. Nicely done.
So
Now what?
you are now in a perfect position to pay it forward.
Yes, exactly. And so far, I've got my nephew. He's 17, and he's had, interestingly enough, a similar experience that I did as a young man. He isn't doing good in school, or at least he wasn't. I don't know how he might be doing better now.
You should ask.
I should ask him.
I'm sure he probably is.
He graduated with a GED, so he's...
I have to stop you. For any of our youth who are out there, a GED is a perfectly valid piece of paper. It is a turn of the knob, just like a high school diploma is, and do not let anybody tell you otherwise.
I almost think it's a smarter action because if you realize that you're not fit for high school and the way the system works and you figured out that you can get your GED.
Yeah.
I think it was a good move for him.
Yeah.
Honestly, and the only reason I hesitate around whether he's doing good with school is because he's not in it right now. He's working with me.
Right.
He's talking about potentially going back in a year. And I'd say,
in and of itself, though. In and of itself.
It's
and
up to you.
He's still in school.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
teaching him.
No, he's learning.
He's
true.
still in school.
So what would you say, I mean, you have lived a very interesting life full of experiences. Do you agree?
I would.
Right. We can go into depth in any one of those and it'd be a good story.
Yeah.
Whether it's, well, we won't go there anyway.
I don't know if it'd be a good story, but it'd be a story.
It would be a good story, right? So what would you say, why are you here at this moment in time with all of your life experiences starting to give back? And being a mentor?
Gosh, I have a pretty deep answer to that.
That's here.
To be honest,
Yeah.
because
Not
what
just
is
deep voice.
what is the
He
that's
did.
just the coffee.
He did put a little bass in his voice on that one.
I'm Vincent Price, and I have a good reason for you. Why do I do anything? What's true value? One of the greatest currencies I could think of in one's life comes down to the moment you're on your deathbed and you look back and you think, what mattered? What's going to make me feel good when I'm on my way out? And helping others.
Absolutely.
Having a positive effect on others. So every day, at the end of the day, I think about every interaction I have with everyone, and I think, did I make a positive or a negative or a neutral effect on them? Yes. And that's how I live my life. And, in terms of mentorship, consistently positive.
Right.
Which, then it's like you can make mistakes as a mentor too, right?
Yeah.
So.
If you don't learn.
Right.
I've never made a mistake, so I haven't learned anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
No, we're all perfect.
Bro, totally.
You're all special. I love the way that you quantify your interactions with others. I recently came across two gems of knowledge. One, we all talk about time and how it's the one resource that cannot be replicated, repeated, or gotten back. So giving someone your time is the most valuable thing that you can give to someone because it's something that you can never get back. You're giving it to them. And more importantly, as human beings, as people, we are the things that give value to things. If money is important to you or money has value, you are the thing. You are what gives it value. Right. If you're on a deserted island and the only thing you have is an apple, the only reason why that apple has value is because of what you can do with that apple. So you as an individual, we as human beings are the most valuable, the only truly valuable thing on the planet because we exert force on everything. We give everything else value. And being a mentor has the opportunity to create lasting value. The things that you teach someone have value, and the fact that you existed in their life ripples. You know what I mean? That David,
yeah.
David, as a mentor to you, is by proxy a mentor to every single life that you touch.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well said.
Go back to the beginning where I say wise, intelligent, all-knowing. That's raw.
Yep. Sounds like it.
So we are just about out of time. One of the things that also we had talked about is what do you want to do moving forward?
Yeah, friend.
Right? I mean, we're going to do the apprentice program and further the trades and further the mentoring and helping the students. But there's also something internally that you want to do that and brings joy and smile and laughter to
What you
people.
want to do, Trevor?
Yeah. Well, gosh, I have all kinds of
put you on the spot for this one.
all kinds of things I'd like to do.
Goodness.
Gosh, I feel like there's one specific one you're
It's the comedy kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I know
You
you're
wanna
not
make
funny at
people
all,
laugh?
and so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, sure. Comedy shorts. Yeah, I've been making little doodles about little sketches of little brief comedy sketches ever since I was that 12-year-old. Looking around and thought, boy, don't people act funny. And, boy, I'd love to capture these little awkward and interesting moments that make me laugh. Yeah. Maybe by proxy, other people. I don't know. Yes. That'd be fun.
Right.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Well, and then we can bring it back to your electrician business. So what do you want to do with that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the electrical business, I'd like to expand, but not hugely necessarily. I'd like to get a couple of guys going and happy. As many kids as want to apprentice and I can accommodate, I would like to, if it's right for them. And I'd be happy to help people figure that out too. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also thinking about trying to work in an employee-owned model to the business.
Yes. I wish we had more time to talk about that, your why and what your goal is.
Circular economy.
Yes.
That's a word.
That's
a concept.
Org chart.
Similar.
Yeah. Amsterdam is trying to do it. Donut economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there are people who contribute to society and there's people who don't, but the people who don't, quote unquote, are either so exorbitantly wealthy that they're only really contributing, not only, but mostly in an out of balance negative way.
Makes
They're
sense.
on the outside of the donut.
Right.
They're not helping everybody, and then in the whole of the donut are like the homeless, the people who they can't quote unquote contribute fiscally because they can't, because they don't.
Where they're at.
They're starving, homeless, whatever. They don't have their human rights. Let's just say I think they're human rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the goal of a donut economy is to get everyone in the donut.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how do you do that with your, you can do it on a small scale. I believe you can do it with a business and then scale it all the way up to the world. But that's pretty...
No large visions, right?
Global domination.
No.
Right. Yeah.
I need $1 million.
My initial
start
idea
there.
of creating an evil corporation for doing good in the world.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys, this
Right.
has been a fantastic. We are the remedy.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than our normal lineup, but I think that we still hit the heart of the message, which is always to see a problem and find somebody who is wholeheartedly willing to be a part of the solution. And I definitely think that, Trevor, the experiences that you had and the way that you view the world automatically makes you part of the solution.
Why, thank you.
I hate you both.
What do you think, Trevor?
I don't know, Trevor. Want to go over it again?
I think we should, Trevor. I mean, so tell me, Trevor.
God, it feels great to be a Trevor in this.
Doesn't it? It is. So we thank you again for joining us today on We Are the Remedy. Trevor Rhoads, Bjorg Electric, mentorship apprentices, and if you're interested in joining him and his team, I don't know, reach out.
Reach out.
That's all it takes. That's what
Send
you
a
heard in your
message.
story, right? If you want something, reach out, ask for it.
Yeah. And
Right.
if it feels right, it might not be the right time.
Right.
Just keep reaching until it is.
Yep. So go out there, smile, share your story with someone, smile at someone, share a compliment, and I don't know.
Continue to be people helping people.
That is what I do now. Yes. Thank you very much.